Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world where distractions are everywhere. Social media, the opinions of others, and the constant buzz of society's expectations can drown out the sound of your own heart. But let me tell you something. Your most important relationship is the one you have with yourself. When you learn to focus on yourself, when you stop looking outside for validation, that's when the magic happens. And let me be clear, it's not about being selfish. It's about self-respect, self-love, and most importantly, self-discovery. Investing in yourself is the most powerful decision you can ever make. It is not about buying new clothes or going on expensive vacations. Those things can be fun. Investing in yourself goes far deeper. It's about prioritizing your personal growth, mental well-being, emotional health, and physical fitness. It's about recognizing that your most valuable asset is not something you can buy, but something you can develop and nurture yourself. We live in a world where we are constantly juggling multiple priorities: work, relationships, responsibilities. The to-do lists seem endless, and often our own needs get pushed to the side. But when we neglect ourselves, we're setting ourselves up for burnout, frustration, and stagnation. Investing in yourself means carving out time to nurture your inner world so you can show up as your best self in every aspect of life. Think about it. When you invest time and energy into learning new skills, you unlock your potential in ways you never imagined. Knowledge is power, and the more you learn, the more you can contribute to the world. Whether it's picking up a new language, mastering a craft, or gaining insight into a subject that excites you, these investments have long-lasting effects. Education, whether formal or self-directed, empowers you to think differently, solve problems creatively, and become an authority in areas that interest you. This commitment to growth is not just an investment in your career, but also in your self-esteem and sense of fulfillment. Similarly, investing in your mental and emotional health is just as crucial. We often put others before ourselves, thinking it's selfish to take time for self-care. But this couldn't be further from the truth. If you're constantly running on empty, how can you be there for others? Mental health is the foundation for everything else in life. Practices like mindfulness, meditation, journaling, or simply taking time to rest help you process emotions, manage stress, and build resilience. The more you take care of your mental well-being, the better you're able to navigate challenges and bounce back from setbacks. Your thoughts shape your reality, and investing in a positive, resilient mindset helps you see opportunities instead of obstacles. Your physical health is also a key area where you should consistently invest. It's not about having a perfect body. It's about feeling strong, energetic, and capable of handling the physical demands of daily life. Regular exercise, nutritious food, and good sleep are foundational for a healthy body. But physical health is about more than just appearance or performance. It's about feeling comfortable in your own skin. When you prioritize your health, you're setting yourself up for a future where you're able to enjoy life to its fullest. Your body is your vessel, and taking care of it ensures that you can fully embrace the opportunities that come your way. Perhaps the most important investment is in your emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, EI, refers to your ability to understand and manage your emotions, as well as recognize and influence the emotions of others. High EI helps you navigate relationships, communicate effectively, and resolve conflicts. It allows you to respond to life's challenges with empathy and calmness rather than being overwhelmed by them. When you invest in developing your emotional intelligence, you enhance your capacity for understanding, connection, and leadership. Furthermore, investing in yourself means setting boundaries and learning to say no when needed. Often we end up overcommitting ourselves because we fear letting people down. But the truth truth is, saying yes to everything and everyone depletes our energy and focus. By learning to prioritize your time and energy, you create space for the things that truly matter to you. Boundaries aren't walls. They are the framework that helps you live in alignment with your values. When you invest in your boundaries, you protect your peace and maintain the capacity to give your best to the areas of life that truly deserve your attention. Lastly, investing in yourself is about self-love. It's about recognizing your worth and honoring who you are. It means forgiving yourself when you fall short, learning from your mistakes, and being kind to yourself in moments of failure. The relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship in your life. When you take the time to invest in your self-worth, you stop seeking validation from others. You begin to rely on your own inner strength and confidence to fuel your journey forward. When you make consistent investments in yourself, you not only improve your present but also set yourself up for success in the future. This commitment to personal growth, health, and emotional well-being will pay dividends throughout your life. Every effort you put into nurturing yourself leads to a stronger, more resilient, and more fulfilled version of you, ready to take on the world with confidence. Self-awareness is the foundation upon which everything else in your life is built. It is the act of understanding who you truly are, what you value, what you stand for, and what drives you. In a world that is constantly changing, where external influences are pushing and pulling us in various directions, the ability to stay grounded in who you are becomes not just a luxury, but a necessity. Without self-awareness, we become like ships adrift in the ocean, tossed around by the winds of societal expectations, others' opinions, and fleeting desires. With it, you become the captain of your own vessel, navigating your journey with clarity and purpose. Being self-aware means recognizing your strengths and weaknesses without judgment. It is about being honest with yourself, even when the truth is uncomfortable. The more you know yourself, the more you understand your reactions, your triggers, and your patterns of behavior. You begin to understand why you react the way you do in certain situations and how to manage your emotions better. Instead of being at the mercy of your impulses, you gain the ability to choose your responses, allowing you to navigate life more skillfully and thoughtfully. Self-awareness also involves understanding your values and principles. What do you believe in? What do you stand for? Your values are the compass that guide your decisions and shape your actions. When you are clear about your values, it becomes much easier to make choices that align with your true self. You stop being swayed by the opinions of others or by trends that don't serve your purpose. This clarity empowers you to say no to things that don't resonate with who you are and say yes to things that truly matter. Another important aspect of self-awareness is recognizing your limitations and accepting them without shame. In a world where perfectionism is often glorified, it's easy to forget that we are all human and have our flaws. Being self-aware doesn't mean pretending to be perfect or always having the answers. It means acknowledging where you can improve and being open to learning and growth. It means being comfortable with vulnerability and accepting that growth is a continuous process, not a destination. When you embrace your limitations, you free yourself from the need for external validation and begin to build a healthier, more authentic self-esteem. Self-awareness also extends to understanding your passions and desires. What lights you up? What makes you feel alive? When you are in tune with what you truly enjoy, you can focus your energy on activities that bring you fulfillment rather than spending your time chasing things that leave you feeling empty. Whether it's a career path, a hobby, or a cause you care deeply about, being aware of your passions helps you make decisions that are in alignment with your true calling. This level of understanding ensures that you are not just going through the motions of life, but actively creating a life that reflects your deepest desires. Furthermore, self-awareness allows you to understand how you relate to others. It helps you recognize your impact on the people around you and how your actions affect their lives. By being mindful of your behavior, you can improve your relationships, communicate more effectively, and become a more compassionate and empathetic person. Self-awareness doesn't just make you better at understanding yourself. It also enhances your ability to understand others, creating stronger and more meaningful connections. Being self-awareness is not a one-time achievement. It is an ongoing journey. The more you invest in reflecting on your thoughts, actions, and experiences, the deeper your self-awareness becomes. Regular self-reflection, journaling, meditation, and feedback from trusted individuals can all help you gain insight into your true nature. The key is to remain open to the idea that you are always evolving. There is no end point in the pursuit of self-awareness. Instead, it's about continuously peeling back layers, learning more about yourself, and making intentional choices based on that knowledge. When you are self-aware, you become a more powerful version of yourself. You are no longer driven by external forces or influenced by the expectations of others. You make decisions based on what is truly important to you, and your actions reflect your authentic self. This level of awareness not only boosts your confidence, but also aligns you with a life that feels purposeful and fulfilling. The more you understand yourself, the more empowered you become to live a life that is uniquely yours. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded by distractions. Our attention is pulled in countless directions, from social media notifications to the demands of daily life. The noise can be overwhelming, and it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters when we're constantly surrounded by external stimuli. But there is immense power in learning to ignore the noise and focus on what is important to you. When you silence the distractions and tune in to your own thoughts, desires, and goals, you reclaim control over your life. Ignoring the noise doesn't mean that you ignore the people or the situations around you. It means recognizing that not everything requires your attention. In a society that thrives on constant input and external validation, it's easy to feel pressured to react to everything happening around you. Everyone has an opinion, and sometimes it can feel like you need to address each one. But not every piece of advice, criticism, or opinion needs a response. By learning to filter out the noise, you free yourself from the burden of other people's expectations and give yourself the space to focus on your own journey. One of the first steps in ignoring the noise is identifying what is truly important to you. What are your values? What are your goals? When you have a clear sense of direction, it becomes much easier to filter out distractions. For example, if your goal is to build a successful career, then any advice or opinions that steer you away from that path can be seen as noise. Similarly, if you are focused on building a healthy lifestyle, then distractions like unhealthy habits or negative influences become irrelevant. Having a clear vision for your life helps you stay centered and avoid being derailed by things that don't align with your purpose. Another crucial aspect of ignoring the noise is learning to trust yourself. In a world that is constantly offering new solutions, trends, and opinions, it's easy to get caught up in the latest craze or follow what everyone else is doing. But the truth is, you are the best judge of what works for you. Trusting yourself means being confident in your ability to make decisions that align with your values, even if they go against the crowd. The more you trust your own instincts, the less likely you are to be swayed by external pressures. One of the biggest sources of noise in our lives today is social media. We are constantly exposed to curated images of other people's lives, success stories, and opinions. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others and feeling inadequate because we aren't measuring up to the highlight reels of social media influencers. But the truth is, what you see on social media is not the full picture. Everyone is on their own unique journey, and comparing yourself to others only adds to the noise. By choosing to step back from the constant flow of information and focusing on your own path, you give yourself the opportunity to create a life that feels authentic to you without the pressure to meet someone else's standards. Ignoring the noise also requires setting boundaries. In a world where we are always connected, it's easy to feel obligated to respond to every text, email, or phone call. But constantly being available to others can drain your energy and divert your focus. Setting boundaries around your time and energy allows you to be more present in the areas of your life that matter most. It's okay to say no to requests that don't align with your priorities or that take away from your focus. When you protect your time, you create the space needed to achieve your goals and focus on what truly matters. Furthermore, ignoring the noise means taking the time to reflect and disconnect from the constant input we receive. It's easy to get caught up in the busyness of life and forget to check in with ourselves. By taking moments of quiet reflection, you allow yourself to reconnect with your inner voice. This could be through meditation, journaling, or simply spending time alone in nature. When you take the time to disconnect from the noise, you gain clarity and perspective on what is truly important to you, which makes it easier to block out distractions in the future. Finally, ignoring the noise requires discipline. It's not always easy to filter out the distractions around us, especially when they're so persistent, but with practice, you can build the mental discipline needed to stay focused on your own journey. The more you commit to ignoring the noise, the stronger your ability to focus on what matters becomes. Over time, you'll find that the external distractions have less power over you and you're able to live more intentionally and authentically. Inner peace is something that many of us seek but often overlook in the hustle and bustle of daily life. In a world that encourages constant action, achievement, and external validation, it's easy to forget the importance of peace within ourselves. We often think that once we achieve certain goals or meet certain expectations, we'll find happiness and contentment. But the truth is, inner peace doesn't come from external achievements or possessions. It comes from within. It is a state of being where we feel balanced, centered, and at ease, no matter what is happening around us. And the most beautiful part, it is something that each of us can cultivate, no matter our circumstances. The journey to inner peace begins with letting go. We are often weighed down by past experiences, regrets, fears, and the pressure of future expectations. These emotional burdens create noise within us, preventing us from experiencing the stillness and tranquility that comes with true peace. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or suppressing those emotions. It means releasing their hold on you. It's about accepting that the past is beyond our control and that the future is uncertain. The only moment we have is the present, and when we learn to be fully present, we begin to experience peace. Holding on to past hurt or worry about what's to come only creates internal chaos. Letting go of these things frees up mental and emotional space, allowing us to be more peaceful and grounded in the now. Another essential aspect of cultivating inner peace is learning to accept yourself as you are. Too often we are our harshest critics. We focus on our flaws, our mistakes, and what we think we should have done differently. But true peace comes when we stop judging ourselves and start embracing our imperfections. When we learn to accept ourselves, our strengths, our weaknesses, and everything in between, we stop fighting against who we are. We begin to feel at ease with ourselves, allowing peace to take root in our hearts. This self-acceptance doesn't mean complacency. It means recognizing that we are worthy of love and peace just as we are. It is an acknowledgement that our value is not defined by our mistakes, failures, or societal standards, but by the simple fact that we exist. Mindfulness is another powerful tool for achieving inner peace. In the rush of life, we often operate on autopilot, moving from one task to another without truly experiencing the present moment. But mindfulness, being fully present in whatever we are doing, has the power to bring us back to our center. When we stop worrying about the future or ruminating on the past, we create space to experience peace in the present. Mindfulness can be practiced in many ways, through meditation, deep breathing, or even by simply paying attention to our surroundings. By becoming more mindful, we train our minds to focus on the here and now, which helps reduce stress, anxiety, and overwhelm. Another crucial component of inner peace is forgiveness, both of others. We often carry grudges, resentments, and guilt, believing that holding on to these emotions is a form of justice or protection. But in reality, it only keeps us trapped in negativity. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing bad behavior. It means freeing ourselves from the emotional weight that holding on to anger or regret brings. When we forgive, we release ourselves from the past and allow room for healing. This is not always easy, especially when the wounds are deep, but the peace that follows is worth the effort. And sometimes the hardest person to forgive is ourselves. We are often more critical of ourselves than anyone else. Letting go of self-blame and guilt is a powerful step toward inner peace, as it allows us to move forward with a sense of compassion and understanding. To truly experience inner peace, we must also learn to manage our expectations. So much of our inner turmoil comes from the gap between what we expect life to be and what it actually is. We set goals, dreams, and ideals, and when reality doesn't match our vision, we become frustrated, anxious, or upset. But life is not always predictable, and the path is rarely straight. By adjusting our expectations and learning to embrace the unpredictability of life, we free ourselves from constant disappointment. Accepting that things will not always go as planned allows us to remain calm and adaptable, no matter what life throws our way. Lastly, inner peace requires the ability to let go of the need for control. We often try to control everything around us, our circumstances, other people, even our own emotions. But the truth is, control is an illusion. Life is fluid, and there is only so much we can manage. When we release the need for control and accept that we can't change everything, we allow ourselves to feel more relaxed and at ease. This doesn't mean we stop taking action or being responsible. It simply means we stop fighting against what we cannot change. Letting go of the need to control allows us to experience freedom, and with freedom comes peace. Finding inner peace is not an overnight process. It is a continuous journey that requires patience, practice, and self-compassion. But by letting go, accepting ourselves, practicing mindfulness, forgiving, adjusting our expectations, and releasing control, we can create a sense of calm and balance in our lives. This peace is not dependent on external circumstances. It is something we cultivate within ourselves. And once we find it, we can carry it with us no matter what challenges life presents. Confidence is not something that is granted to you by others. It is not a gift you receive or a trait you are born with. It is something that you build layer by layer through your actions, beliefs, and mindset. Confidence comes from within, and it grows as you learn to trust yourself, embrace your strengths, and accept your flaws. It is a quiet, unwavering belief in your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. True confidence is rooted in self-acceptance and authenticity, not arrogance or the need to prove something to others. At its core, confidence is about knowing who you are. When you have a clear understanding of your strengths and weaknesses, you stop comparing yourself to others. You stop measuring your worth based on external validation, and instead you find your value within. Confidence isn't about being the best at everything. It's about knowing that you are enough as you are. When you embrace your uniqueness and stop trying to fit into someone else's mold, you begin to radiate a natural, unshakable confidence. You understand that your worth isn't determined by how others perceive you, but by your ability to stay true to yourself. Building confidence requires you to step out of your comfort zone and face challenges head on. It's easy to stay in familiar situations where you feel safe and in control. But growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. Confidence is built by doing things that scare you, by taking risks, and by overcoming obstacles. Each time you push yourself to do something you once thought was impossible, you prove to yourself that you are capable. These small victories accumulate over time, strengthening your belief in yourself. It's not about perfection, but about showing up, trying your best, and learning from the experience. Even when you don't succeed, you gain valuable insights that help you grow and build resilience. And every time you rise after a fall, your confidence grows a little stronger. One of the biggest obstacles to confidence is the fear of failure. So many of us are afraid to fail, and this fear can paralyze us. We worry about what others will think, how we will look, or what the consequences will be. But here's the truth. Failure is not the enemy. It is a powerful teacher. Every successful person has failed at some point. What separates them from those who don't succeed is their ability to embrace failure, learn from it, and keep going. Confidence grows when you stop fearing failure and start seeing it as a stepping stone to success. When you realize that failure is simply a part of the journey, you can approach challenges with courage and conviction. Another key to building confidence is practicing self-compassion. We are often our own harshest critics, berating ourselves for our mistakes and imperfections. This negative self-talk undermines our confidence and creates doubt. To build true confidence, we must learn to treat ourselves with kindness. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, focus on what you can learn from the experience. Be gentle with yourself when you make mistakes and remind yourself that you are constantly growing. When you practice self-compassion, you create a foundation of self-love and acceptance that supports your confidence. A crucial part of confidence is also learning to trust your own judgment. We live in a world where everyone seems to have an opinion about what we should do, how we should live, and what we should believe. It's easy to get caught up in the noise and doubt our own decisions. But confidence comes when you trust yourself to make choices that are right for you, even when others disagree. It's about trusting your intuition, standing firm in your beliefs, and knowing that you are capable of making informed decisions. When you trust yourself, you become less reliant on the opinions of others and more confident in your ability to navigate life. Confidence is also about taking care of your physical and mental health. When you feel good in your body, when you take care of yourself physically, it's easier to feel confident in your appearance and your abilities. Exercise, healthy eating, and rest are all vital components of building confidence. Similarly, taking care of your mental health through practices like meditation, mindfulness, or therapy helps you build emotional resilience, which in turn boosts your confidence. When you feel strong, both mentally and physically, you are better equipped to face the world with confidence. Building confidence is a journey, not a destination. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to face challenges head on. But the more you work on building your confidence, the more natural it becomes. Confidence is not about being perfect or flawless. It's about embracing who you are, trusting yourself, and knowing that you have the strength to handle whatever comes your way. When you build confidence from within, it becomes a powerful force that shapes every aspect of your life, from your career to your relationships to your overall well-being. Confidence allows you to live authentically and unapologetically, knowing that you are enough just as you are.